first of a kind. First of a kind that we've done this. This is going to just pretty much tonight want to just be introductory, make sure everybody understands the platform, what we're going to do. A couple guys will speak about things that they're bringing that are new. I'm of course new, and I want to bring us all together, and I want to create a culture of togetherness, okay, and partnership. So this goes a long way. So you guys coming in on this, and we all sharing things and ideas and concepts and everything else. This is an open forum, no judgment. We should absolutely learn from each other. We got all different levels of umpires on this call, and we all can learn something from somebody. None of us are immune from still learning. So let's keep an open mind and a good attitude on these Monday nights, and I think they'll be productive. And any of you can get to those cage sessions. We had one yesterday, like I was talking about in Somersworth. It was very productive. Good stuff came out of that, and the best part is I'm starting to meet a lot of you that I haven't met before. I've heard most of your names before, but not faces. So now I can start putting names to faces, and we can start creating a really good team here. It'll be good. It'll be great. Jeff, do you want to start off and let everybody know your new role and how you're going to apply your skills to this organization, please?
Yeah, sure, Rick. Yeah, hi everybody. As it says on the screen, I'm Jeff Ross, and I've just taken over the role of performance review coordinator. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that, it's my job in that role to help run the evaluation process. And it's a job that Don McCucci held for a number of years, and he'll be the first to tell you it's not an easy task to figure out how to take a 200 plus umpire organization and design and implement an effective evaluation system. So I've spent a lot of time this fall working with Rick, with Gary, consulting with Phil Levesque and Jim Walsh, the Bud chairman, and other members of the executive board, trying to figure out how we might get a evaluation process that's practical and doable, and first and foremost, not only gets people evaluated, but gives you, the individual umpire, very specific feedback about what you can do to grow and improve and advance from that feedback. So we have some ideas that have been approved by the executive board. We'll announce a good deal of the specifics of that at the business meeting on the 15th, and hopefully we'll get it up and running and implemented from the start of the season. And we'll begin to see the benefits of the changes we've made and the ideas we have impact our organization.
It's nothing to do with us. Let's just go arrest this guy.
That's great. That's great. And just to piggyback one thing, Jeff mentioned about individual improvement, but also what a byproduct of this is all going to be is that Jeff's going to collect all the data and all the information, and we'll be able to identify weaknesses within the entire organization. There'll be things that keep coming up, and there'll be patterns, and that'll enable us to understand what we need to work on going forward as a group, and give us a better understanding of what our educational session should be about. So that's another benefit of doing individual evaluations, is that it becomes also about helping everybody. So that's good. Gary, you want to say anything? You want to address everybody? Anybody?
No, I don't really have anything to add. You guys have done a great job. We all have really been doing a good job of checking the arbiter, taking the games. I know we released it really early, probably the earliest that we've ever done. There's still plenty of games to be assigned. With the influx of all the new umpires, so all levels of baseball will now be assigned through the arbiter, through the NHBUA arbiter, Legion, adult baseball, Babe Ruth baseball. So if you haven't done those levels of baseball in the past, please reach out to me. I'm always looking for more guys to do those levels. I know it's not the most glorious levels of baseball, but if you want to put more money in your pocket, work some games and all that stuff, let me know.
No, it's going to arrest me. No, they really.
Phil, anything as the interpreter you'd like to pass along to everybody at this moment?
Yeah, excited to be picking up the torch from Terry Dosty, who's been our interpreter for several years, and looking forward to these Monday night sessions. I've talked to Rick about presenting rules a couple times, so in future sessions on a couple of Mondays from now, we'll start with obstruction, then cover interference, and talk about base awards and any questions folks have about those things. I'll try to bring some videos too that will be interesting for us to look at and study and try to get a little bit better about some of the rules enforcement and interpretation, because I think where we miss interference and obstruction is not necessarily because we don't know the rule. It's sometimes they're not comfortable with enforcement or other things that keep us from doing those things. So we'll try to get everybody here a little bit more comfortable with it. And please bring questions. If you've got rules questions that are even aren't obstruction interference base awards, anything you want to talk about on these calls, like I'm happy to answer those. And if I don't have an answer for you right away, I'll get back to you. But please, make this a meeting where you can come and get your questions answered as well.
Great. Thank you. And yes, we will. My goal is to let you all know the topic as we're leaving this one. I'll let you know what we're going to do next week, and then so on and so on forth. And so that you can prepare and have questions for those related topics. Jim Walsh, I know we have some younger umpires, maybe some apprentices on the line. Do you want to speak to anything?
We'll be starting the classes on February 19th. They already know that. But if anybody has any acquaintances that are interested in becoming umpires with the NHBUA, please have them reach out to me, give them my email address, and would be very grateful for that. We've got I think we have 15 umpires. We revamped the program this year. It's going to be quite a bit different than what we've done in the past, more online stuff. We have some great trainers and a really nice new program. Yeah.
Yeah, it is good. I've seen it. It's going to be great. You guys are going to enjoy that, and we're going to hopefully down the line, once we get the bugs out and figure out how we're going to use it exactly. I think we're going to offer a lot of that same stuff to the current membership. Also, we got to figure that out. We're in the fledgling stages of that. The beautiful thing about what we've done in bringing all these other groups and leagues and such in is that we're now, the NHBUA is an inclusive umpire group. It's not exclusive to high school. It's not exclusive to the very few baseball games. It's now inclusive, and so the umpires are inclusive in all things baseball in New Hampshire. I think that's the only way to go to get everybody consistent, allowing the younger and less experienced umpires who want to develop their skills to start off on the right foot and not get into bad habits, being taught different things that aren't what we teach, and then they want to become high school umpires and they got to relearn everything, and that's just doesn't make any sense to me. So I think this is great that we're going to have everybody under one umbrella and have on all the teachings from the start all be consistent, and that's very important to me, and it should be important to you too. So everybody's on the same page. When you show up to a field, you'll know that everybody's properly trained and you're all going to be doing the same things. So that's very comforting when you go to a game. So anyone else? Leadership, Adam, Mr. President, you have anything? No. Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't get the mute off there.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, I'm proud of the team that we have in place and all the opportunities that we're putting together for everybody. And really everybody has said, we want to make our organization bigger, better, stronger, and more collaborative, really, to put a better product on the field for the kids that are out there. So I'm super proud of the team in place, and all the things that we are doing to encourage people to join us and to get stronger.
Well, thank you, Adam. Appreciate those words. It's nice. Okay, so I know I spoke to some of you yesterday at Summersworth and kind of gave you a heads up of how we're going to start this off tonight. We're gonna what I'd like to do is open the floor up for. I know over the last probably, I don't know, maybe a long time, for all I know. But over the last few years, I'm sure there's a lot of things that have come up, that there's a lot of inconsistencies out there with interpretation, but also like mechanics, signaling, things of that nature. So those are just examples. I mean, if you can think of things and want to ask right now to clear up things that you've been told that might contradict each other, and we can clear any of those up right now, now would be a great time to do that. So I'm going to shut up, and whoever wants to speak first, speak up.
Hey, Rick, this is Dominic.
Hey, Dom.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
So I think a big thing, especially with newer umpires or umpires who have not umpired high school games, I
Okay.
think the biggest thing for people to understand is that when you talk about mechanics and signals and stuff, is that the home plate umpire should be leading that, and he should give the signal as to what he's going to do during the play.
That's right.
And the base umpire, when you're talking about a two-man game,
Hmm.
should mirror that and understand if I'm, the plate umpire, there's a runner on first base, I'm rotating to third, he's rotating towards first. And I've worked with a lot of guys through the years, especially guys that don't do the same mechanics or newer or stuff like that. And they look confused when I give them a signal. So I
Okay.
think it's important for them to understand the home plate guy leads, tells you what he's going to do, and you should be following in suit going the opposite direction.
That's 100% correct. Um, to piggyback on that,
No
we need to
caller.
make we need to make sure that we're efficient in giving our signals. What that means is, as soon as you have that first opportunity to give a signal, is when you want to be on that same page and give that signal. The worst thing in the world is when you're on the plate and you're trying to give a signal and the base guy's not paying any attention to you. And then all of a sudden now you're getting set back up onto the plate, and all of a sudden he looks up and gives a signal. You're like, dude, let's get on the same page here. And the better rule of thumb is just to get it over with as quickly as possible. Okay. During the transition to the next batter, you just look at him, boom, give a quick signal, get it done. Okay. But Dom's at 100% right. It should come from the plate guy, and he should be ready to give the signal quickly. So, yes.
And one thing I'd just like to piggyback on that, Rick,
Yeah.
is especially if you haven't worked with somebody before, that pregame meeting is so important that you can talk about that stuff. If you have any questions, it's a great time to ask situational or signals or mechanics, whatever the case. That pregame conversation is a place where you can even start the learning prior to the game beginning.
That's right. That's right. So simple, and we've simplified the signaling. It's always you're signaling where you're going to go. So if you're the plate guy, you're going to signal you're going to third on a rotation, and the base guy then is going to signal he's going towards first because he's going to go the other way. So that's as simple. And then when you transfer into a three-man system, it's all the same thing. You're always pointing where you're going. So that's something that wasn't always the case in the last 3 or 4 years. 5 years maybe. We've changed that. So any other things other than that are now obsolete. We want you pointing the way that you're going. So
Yep, I
Well, I
love the
wanna-
new way. It's the best.
yeah,
So I want to go back to Dominic. He's saying you mirror the sign where you're saying no, point to where you're going.
where you're going. Right. I think he meant Mira's reference to you're going to take the lead. So he's going to be the one who's going to initiate. So,
Well, it's simple. It's simple. If I'm pointing to the left, like I'm going to third base, then the base guy should be pointing to the right, and they're going the opposite direction.
yeah,
See?
and from where you're facing, but yeah, he's still pointing to the left, right? So
Right.
the plate guy's pointing to the left, and then the base guy's pointing to the left
Correct.
because it's the same direction that they're going, right, Kathleen?
As if Dominic is going to third base, if he's signaling he's going to,
Right.
I'd be signaling I'm going to
First base.
first
First
base,
base.
right?
Second,
So I'd
first.
be
Well,
signaling left.
Let me
That
jump
side
in.
of the
Both,
end.
let me jump in. Both umpires are pointing basically with their right hand. Home plate is pointing with their right hand. If I'm the base guy, I'm also pointing with my right hand.
You're pointing in the same direction. You're mimicking each other basically. So because you got to think of it as the field is split, okay?
Sorry, I'm sorry. Can I just
So
ask a
Dom's
quick
going to go to the right, third base side, and you're going and the base guy's going to go to the first base side. Okay.
What do we mean by signaling? This is my first time being in on a meeting like this.
Okay.
I'm a little confused about what we're talking about here.
Okay. So when you every between each batter, we're going to signal what our responsibilities are going to be as an umpire for the next potential play. And those change based on where the runners are. So a most likely scenario, or a very likely scenario, maybe not most likely, but a very likely scenario is a runner on first only. And you're gonna signal what the rotation is going to be. So the plate umpire is going to point to third, that on a base hit, he's going to go up to third. And you, as the base guy, are going to go to the other side of the diamond to take the batter runner and potential play between first and second. Okay.
Okay,
So,
understood.
every signal starts with an out. Okay. So the first thing you give is an out. So it's one out. I'm going to third. Okay. Please, please, please. This is one of my pet peeves. Maybe this is not a signal. Okay. And I'll give you an example why. If we're just doing this out there and it's 3 or 4 batters of this out there, this out there, this out there, then all of a sudden it's like, how many outs are there? Every signal starts with an outs. So just do the proper signal, the outs and the signal. If it's the same one, the next batter, it's outs, signal. It's no more difficult than doing this. So let's try to get this out of our routine because it develops bad habits, and that's when we forget about how many outs there are. We might even forget about what the situation is. We've done it so many times now, we're kind of blanking out. So let's just keep with the signals.
Thank you. I'd love to see that eliminated.
Okay, what else? Who else? Confusion.
Jim, were you talking about the February 19th as the start of the, well, would be my second year of the BUD program? Anybody?
Gary, do you know that answer?
Yes, yes. The answer is yes, Ben.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jim's taking a restroom break.
Trying to
Hopefully
eat
not
supper.
sleeping. Oh, there he
Oh,
is.
there he is. He's back.
Trying to eat supper. You're
Oh, he's
interrupting.
trying to eat supper.
My bad. Sorry.
All right, come on, guys. We want it. Nothing, no judgment here. Just lay it out there. This is what the time to.
I know we have probably four apprentices on, so feel free to ask questions. I know a lot that you probably don't understand, like Lionel asked. That's great. Ask those questions because I'm sure if you don't know the answer, some of these guys on this Zoom probably don't know because the mechanics have changed even since I started 20 plus years ago. So jump in.
Jump in.
Rick, what if there's a unfortunate ejection?
Okay.
And what should you're on the plate? Either way, doesn't matter who does it, which
Okay.
partner does it. What should the other partner do?
Okay. So post ejection, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
A player or a coach has just been ejected.
Okay. So you've ejected. Well, you would hope. My hope would be that we would understand that this is a potential that's going to happen, right? So we're going to use our tools first. We're going to warn. We're going to tell them When you've spoken enough with him and he's carrying on, you're going to say something along the lines. I'd like to hear you say something like, "Coach, we need to move on. This discussion's over. We need to move on." That's step one. Step two, if he doesn't take that advice, you restrict him to the bench. Okay. So now you, as the other umpire, are starting to say, okay, this is leading to a place where this guy might get dumped. Start slowly creeping towards get ready. Because as soon as you eject him, the ejecting umpire wants to turn and get out of the way, and the other umpire wants to come in and walk him off the field, keep any further stuff from happening. And if further stuff happens, and he continues on, he bypasses and chases the umpire and all that, that's something I'm going to need to know because there's going to be additional penalties for him. I don't know what they are. There's nothing in stone, but there definitely will be additional penalties if he continues. So each case will be different, but that's all information I'm going to need to know. But to answer your question, the guy who's the non-ejecting umpire needs to be ready to get that person who's angry with the other umpire off the field. Try not to touch them. Don't you physically put your hands on them or anything. You can get in between them. There might be some contact, but just try to direct them. Try to use some language that, hey, it's over. We got to get the game going. You got to get off the field. I understand you're frustrated. Try to appease them. Kind of try to keep them, try to be as understanding as possible that why he's angry and try to walk him off the field. That would be your responsibility.
I know down in Pennsylvania, if it ever got to the point where an ejection was made, all those reports would have to be made to the association, and then it would go back to the athletic directors and also the principals. And then there's actually an educational piece the coaches would have to go through and show in order to come back. So I don't know what the process is here.
Yeah, that's very, very similar to what New Hampshire does. So
okay,
if there's an ejection, I would expect you to get a hold of me within a couple hours of the contest ending. I need to know as soon as possible. So when I receive a phone call from somebody, I'm not in the dark.
Right.
So ideally within a couple of hours after. And the best thing for you to do probably is if you have an ejection, as soon as you get off the field, text me and say, "Hey Rick, I had an injection at St. Thomas today. It was the coach. I will, because I'm going to ask you to send me an email of the accounts of what happened. So I'm going to be sending you an email and blah, blah, blah. And so then at least I know the coach has been ejected. And if I have any, then I'll have some sort of idea.
Okay.
So what happens from there, like Brian said, is that coach has to sit a mandatory of 2 games. He has to take a sportsmanship education course. And I found out yesterday that course actually costs him money to take. So he's actually got to pay to take that course. I don't know what the amount is. I don't know. But I know that it costs him money to take that course. He's got to satisfy that online course and sit the 2 games before he's eligible to come back to coach. So
why are you picking on St. Thomas? Don't pick on St. Thomas.
The most important thing that I took out of that, and I hope a lot of others did, is don't leave your partner flounder. Oh, if your partner just ejected somebody, get over there.
Absolutely. Exactly. It's 100% correct. You're out there together, and
and Scott, to that point, if the ejection is a evolving one, it doesn't hurt for you as the base umpire or the partner to walk deliberately toward what is happening so you can overhear the conversation, so that you can document things that are said or not said, and be Johnny on the spot to be the rodeo clown when and if the ejection happens. Yeah.
Thanks,
that's
Jeff.
Excellent ad. Yep.
The other thing as a tool, knowing what that it costs, and they have to sit 2 games. That's one of those things that we have that we can lead them and say, hey, it goes too much farther and you get ejected. Just know what the consequences are, coach. A little reminder. So that's one of those things.
Yeah, you can. You can do that. You just got to be careful a little bit,
right.
Talking too much,
Right.
And I think a strategy of we got to move on. That's starting the process of we're done talking. Right. It's a very professional statement, to say we need to move on, you know. And then if they continue, you say, Coach, I'm going to have no other option but to restrict you if you don't go back to the dugout right now.
Right.
And then if he keeps going, okay, now you are going back to the dugout. You're restricted to the dugout. Now, hopefully that ends there because now he understands that you're serious. You're not just making threats.
Right.
You're actually going to follow through. So
Correct.
if he's stupid enough to keep going on there and get ejected, that's he got ejected. You didn't eject him. He ejected himself.
Right.
Okay.
Do we have to report if they're restricted to the dugout?
Not technically, no. If you want to send me a note, I don't mind keeping track of that stuff. That's good information for me. If we have a habitual offender who gets restricted to the bench over and over again every game, that would be nice to know. So if you feel like you've restricted somebody, you want to talk to somebody about it, you can always call me. But if you want to text me and let me know that you restricted the dugout and you want to have a little chat about what had happened, I'm good with that too. So and then I'll keep track of that. And if there's a repeat offender, definitely, if it's an issue, I have no problem stepping up and saying, hey, your coach has been restricted 4 times this year. So there's something he's not doing right. So let's get that corrected.
I just want to add, of the 1,400 high school games we had last year, I think we had 30 restrictions, ejections. So it's not
it's not
huge
common
issue. So I don't want to scare any
No.
newer umpires away saying, oh my God, I'm gonna have an ejection every game. It's very rare. Obviously, with the NHI being a pretty powerful entity, sportsmanship for a lifetime, all that stuff. So
Mhm. All right. What's
If you
next?
eject a player, where should they go? Especially if it's a visiting player.
They're restricted to the dugout, basically. Okay. And it's got and I have been involved when something like this. And again, Gary's 100% right. This stuff just doesn't happen very often. But we all need to be prepared when it does, because it can happen, right? So when you eject a player and he's basically restricted to the dugout, if he still becomes a problem in the dugout, now your next step is to restrict the coach to the dugout to make sure he's taking care of that kid. Okay. And you'll want to warn the coach too. You want to give him a chance to correct the behavior. Say, Coach, he's been ejected. He needs to stop or you're going to be in the dugout with him for the rest of the game. Okay. Something like that. But yeah, he's not to leave the playing area or anything. That's liability issues. He can't, he needs to stay with the team. He can't participate anymore. And he certainly isn't allowed to voice any displeasure. That's for sure. Anything else, Gary? I know we talked about a few things that we thought might come up tonight with confusion. Do you think of one?
the one signal that we've talked about is the 2 hands that you're telling the plate guy behind the infield. Well, first of all, that is poor mechanics. I get it. We're scared that we're going to get hit by the ball. We don't want to get closer. You got the infield in, but adjust yourself just a little bit to the left of the shortstop and let him know that on a ground ball, I'm going to stay put. Okay. You got plenty of time. You have more time than you think on a line drive. So no longer should you ever be behind the shortstop if the infield's playing in. Go to the left, go to the right, slide away from them, but no more of this signal of 2 hands behind them. That's just poor mechanics.
Yeah. There's no reason for you to go behind and take yourself out of every line drive situation within the infield. That's not fair to your plate guy. So yes, you may have struggle with the guy next to you, the shortstop, or if you're in B, the second baseman. Okay. But just make sure you're out of his way and be ready to make that movement if he's got to come towards you. That's about the extent of it. We don't have to.
I tried that last year. It worked great all through summer ball. I just squeezed in. I just took like a big step to the left and kind of tried to stay over, like if I was in C, I tried to stay over the pitcher's like right shoulder a bit and just squeeze into the back of the mound right there where the dirt circle is.
Yeah, you can do that. That's another thing you can do. You can actually go forward if you're comfortable with that. But if you feel like you're uncomfortable getting closer, some of you might because of line drives and such, and you need to stay back, you don't have to go way back. You don't have to go back to the dirt. You don't have to go way behind them. just kind of get out of their way. That's all. Good point, Gary.
I got since we're having multiple umpires, Legion, Babe Ruth, and so forth. I an issue with what they consider proper equipment in the different leagues, especially bats. Some were saying that bat wasn't in their league, but it still had the official numbers and stickers on it.
Mm-hmm.
They said they don't use it in that particular thing. How am I supposed to know that?
Okay, so I can speak for the high school level, and then Gary can speak for the rest of the levels. High school level, if it has BB core on it, it's all you need to know. That's all you need to know, because if it's BB core certified, it means it meets all the restriction requirements, everything, the length weight ratio, the barrel diameter, everything. BB core, that's it. The exit ratio, everything is encompassed in one thing. So if it says BB core in high school, that's all you need to see. As long as it doesn't have dents and cracks in it, good to go. Gary, can you speak to the others?
Yeah, so like obviously Legion is back to metal. They are high school. It's going to be BB4. To the travel baseball, quite honestly, let them play with whatever they want. They're paying thousands of dollars to play. You're off the hook by asking them, are your players legally proper equipped in your equipment? That will save you if somebody gets hurt. You say, no, they told me all their equipment was good. So that will, liability wise, you're good there. So
good point.
That's really
Hey,
it.
Phil, are we missing? Phil, are we missing anything on that?
Nope, right on track. Sounds great.
And the other one you'll see in travel baseball is the two piece. They in Massachusetts, now that they're a federation state, they really should have the hockey style, but they're not governed the middle school levels down there. So you allow them to wear the two piece with the travel baseball. That's okay. And prep school as well. That's legal for them. But high school, no. NHIA games, no. Middle school games, they really aren't governed by the NHI, so really they can, but they're playing under federation rules, so they really should be. It should be a one piece. But Legion, they can wear the two piece. Hockey doesn't have to be hockey style.
Yeah, skull cap with the mask.
So, and Legion baseball, same thing. No, Legion adult baseball, all that stuff. Travel baseball, yeah.
Okay.
Rick, Dan McDonald buzzing in for a second.
All right, Dan. Yes. Hi.
You see, you get different partners a lot of the times during the season, and what comes into question is, to me, is the calling of the infield fly rule. It varies per league and the individual you're playing with. Can you clarify that to all of us that are here right now?
Sure,
So
sure. Phil,
pointing?
Yep. Phil, you want to help me with that? Explain that, what the exact rule is, and what the interpretation for an infield fly rule is.
Sure. Infield fly situation is when you have runners on first and second, or first, second, and third with fewer than 2 outs. So basically the rule is in place to try to protect the offense from having a cheap double play turned on them should the pop-up be allowed to drop untouched. And it needs to be handled with ordinary effort by an infielder, right? So that's the judgment piece that comes into play. So Dan, I think your question is about when we call it, like who can call it, who signals, is that what you're asking?
Yes, that's correct. Because sometimes you have the base umpire and the home plate up, and both arms are going up, or sometimes you'll get 2 people calling at the same time.
Yeah. So I think it's fine to have both people call it. And in a lot of cases, the base umpire has a better view. So there used to be this thinking about the plate umpire is the only one who verbalizes or the only one who signals. And I think we're getting away from that increasingly at all levels of baseball, because the base umpires can have a better look at where the fielders are positioned and have a better idea sometimes of whether or not it's ordinary effort for some of those middle infielders. So either or both umpires can make the call verbally. If one calls it, the other one should echo it and mirror it so that everyone knows, and both umpires should know that the infield fly has been called. But that's how we would go about it, Dan.
Shouldn't that be something discussed before the game, though?
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with regards to calling it, Dan, the challenge, I think a lot of times is some people want to call it too early. And so what I'll say as a teaching tool and a recommendation is we should never be signaling or calling an infield fly before the ball gets to its highest point. And we can call it any time between then and when it touches the glove. So you've got that whole time that the ball is on its way down to determine whether or not it's an infield fly. But hold off until it at least gets to its apex and then call it any time before it hits the glove.
A lot of times there was confusion last year with some of the people I was with in regards to where the ball, where it have to be. That you got people that think it's got to be in the infield. Yeah,
so Dan, it in fact
out
does
underneath
not.
it. So that's where you might get discrepancy with home plate and the base umpire.
Yeah, so an interesting part of the rule, Dan, is actually that it does not need to be in the infield, right? So you could have a ball that's caught in short left field by the shortstop, who can catch it with ordinary effort, and that still could be considered an infield fly. So for the purposes of the infield fly rule, ignore that there's any dirt or grass or anything on the infield and the outfield. The key question, the first two are prerequisites, right? Are there fewer than two outs? And do I have runners on first and second or first, second, and third? Those aren't judgment. Those are yes or no, right? But then the judgment piece becomes, can an infielder catch the ball with ordinary effort? It doesn't matter where that ball would have fallen or where it would be caught. Could it have been caught with ordinary effort by an infielder? That's the only question that needs to be answered, the only judgment, not that it would have fallen on the dirt at shortstop or it's in left field. That none of those, that doesn't matter. The actual position doesn't matter.
And an outfielder can catch an infield fly rule. Okay, so it doesn't have to be caught by an infielder.
Hey, Rick.
What if the ball's foul?
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to touch on, Phil. We are also going to if the ball is on the lines, pop up near the lines, and it's going to threaten a line. It's paramount that the plate umpire is the one who's going to initiate that infield fly situation and say infield fly if fair. So if it winds up being a foul ball, it's nothing. If it winds up being a fair ball, it's an infield fly. So that's when it's more specific for the home plate umpire to make that initial call. But anything that's generally in the other areas, yeah, either one can get it as soon as they deem it is an infield fly. Yep. And Phil, if you could go over, because I think this would be an excellent time to talk about if we don't call an infield fly when it is indeed an infield fly, or if we call an infield fly when it's not a situation that calls for the infield fly, and the confusion that it creates and how we fix that.
Yeah, I mean, well, first, if you screw it up, hope they catch it, because that's the easiest way to fix it. But yeah, so I'll cover first the situation where you don't call it and it should have been an infield fly and the ball drops and now there's a circus. So, when we don't call an infield fly, we're now potentially putting the offense at risk. And so there could be multiple outs that are attempted to be recorded here. And so in that situation, when the play finishes and the music stops from the merry-go-round, somebody is probably going to figure out that should have been an infield fly. Perfectly acceptable at that point to call time, go talk to your partner, say, boy, we really kicked the hell out of that one. And then you can fix it, right? You can say that should have been an infield fly, or the batter's going to be out, and we're going to put the runners back, first, second, and third, so that we didn't put everybody in peril when multiple outs were recorded. Okay. If instead, like we try to circle the bases and run score and all kinds of fun things happen, you might enforce that differently, right? You might at the end say the batter's still out because we should have called that, but the defense didn't make the catch. Runners could have advanced at their own peril, and they did. And maybe you leave them there. So I think it's going to be situational in how you're going to enforce it, because there's nothing in the rule book that says when you kick an infield fly, here's how you fix it. The rule book assumes that if there's an infield fly, you're going to call an infield fly. So you have to apply some of your best judgment there to try to fix the situation. Similarly, if you, much less often, but if you call an infield fly and there was not an infield fly situation, then again, hope they catch it so that the batter's out. But if they drop it, you wouldn't be calling that batter out, probably, or putting them on first base unless they get thrown out. Especially if they've given up on the base because of that. So again, things you need to fix and use some common sense. There's no language in the rule book that's going to back up what you're going to do that says, here's how you fix it when you screw it up. But there's also no language that says you can't fix it that way. And that's really what you're trying to take advantage of. So Rick, if you disagree with any of those enforcements, feel free to jump in. But those are the ways that I would try to get at trying to fix it if I kicked an infield fly.
Yeah, no doubt. Phil makes a really good point. There's no real fine definition because they're going to expect that you're going to do what's fair in that situation. You're going to take into account what just happened and fix it to what you feel is fair, and then you might have to use we're moving on to the coach, because it's just it might be a discussion that is going to be had, and that's okay. We all make mistakes and we learn from it. And the last point I'd make is that if you are unsure whether you're going to call it or not, just call it. It's easier just to call it and say, hey, I really thought he was under it. I thought he had a good chance. I have to protect your runners. That's just the way it is. I think it's a lot easier to explain that and fix that than it is the other one. Okay, the other
Rick,
one has it.
Hey, Rick.
Does that include on a bump?
Gordy? Yes, Gordy?
Yeah, could you go over the sign that the plate guy is going to initiate?
The signal?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we have
the pointing and the bump.
Yeah, when we have the infield fly situation, so we're going to give our signals between batters. And okay, now we have runners on first and second, less than 2 outs. We're going to give the outs first. Okay, this is important, and this is another one of mine, where if you only use that signal and there's nobody out and you go in like this, that's confusing. Okay, because is it 1 out in the infield fly, or are you just giving the infield fly signal? What is it? So make sure you give the outs first. Now you can go out and then point to the sky. Okay, it doesn't have to be way up here. It doesn't have to be out here. Just right by your ear, outs, and point. And
how about
then there would be a double tag situation in that same scenario where potentially you could rotate up to third. So the total signal would be 1 out, infield fly. On a double tag, I'm going to go to third. Okay, that's the signal.
Thank you.
Hey, just remember, an infield fly is always in effect, no matter if you call it or not. It's in effect. You never leave. The coaches know it, so they're either going to accept it or they're going to complain, but it's always in effect, whether you call it or not.
I got a quick question. I don't know if you can hear
Tom.
me. This
Tom.
is Tom. I do a lot of
I'm on a Zoom meeting.
Sub high school, and the infield fly is confusing. Just to clarify, I think I already know the answer. Infield fly is called runners advance, and you know it can turn into a circus, especially at the 10 and 12-year-old. With that, everything is a tag play on the bases, correct?
Correct.
No?
And there's no appeal plays. They need to be tagged.
Whether the runner's going back to the base, he gets caught.
Right. Let me rephrase that. If it's an infield fly and the ball is caught, appeal is still possible. But if the ball is not caught, he's out, and there's force play is off, so no force plays, and anybody going back to bases need to be tagged. Okay.
Yeah, so Tom, to your question, we only have force plays when the batter becomes a runner, right? The batter becoming a runner is what creates force plays. And in the case of the infield fly, the batter is out, right? As soon as we call the infield fly, the batter is out. If we don't have a batter anymore, we can never have a force play.
Correct. Yeah, like I said, I knew that, but like I say, at the 10 and 12-year-olds, coaches don't even know the rules half the time.
Then get
So
out, Tommy. Get out. Call him out.
No.
No, but you're exactly right. Everything
Just remember that all those runners are running at their own peril at that point.
That's right. This is where preparation comes in, and I'm so glad you guys are all here today because this goes hand in hand with getting prepared. This is preparation. You know, if you're not having any of these discussions tonight or leading up to the season, and maybe you have it at a pregame just before your first game of the season, that's not really preparing. So that's why we're going to do these every Monday night, right to the beginning of the season, so we can get you guys prepared. So when that happens, you're going to be more apt to be on top of it rather than having to think, oh my God, what just happened? What's got to happen? Where's it going to go? You know, so that's why we're
You
here.
also can't have an infield fly on a bunt. The
No,
bunt's
you can't.
popped up. There's no infield
Correct.
fly.
That's correct.
It's a live ball, and the circus begins.
No, you're
Hopefully
praying
they
for
catch
a
it.
catch. Catch the damn ball.
Now, if they intentionally drop it, you can call them out, and
They can intentionally drop an infield fly because the batter's already out, right? So they can intentionally drop
Right.
the ball
But
still
if they-
live.
Chris,
But
you're
if it's a
talking about the
bunt.
intentionally dropped bunt. Yeah, then
Right.
you'd have an intentionally dropped ball. Yeah,
Oh, the
because
bunt.
you don't have an infield fly. Yeah.
Yep.
Or a line drive, right? Because a line drive can't be an infield fly either. Yeah.
That intentional drop though has to touch the glove though, right?
Correct. You can't drop something you don't
Goes like
touch.
this and just lets it fall.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And you
Yeah, and I don't mean
only
that. I don't mean that flippantly. That's teaching tool, right? You can't drop something if you haven't touched it, right? Otherwise, it's fallen without you touching it. Drop implies I had it and I dropped it, right? Otherwise, it's not a drop.
Yeah, so just one
question. So when I caught,
and they don't touch it, let it fall. That double play's still intact, and it's
Right.
good.
You don't touch it. It's just a missed ball. Missed catch.
Yeah, you get that. So with and think about the situation here, Stephen, right? So if you've got a pop up and you've got a runner on first only, and they let that ball fall to the ground untouched and turn a double play, it's probably because the batter runner didn't run hard to first base. Shame on him. We're not protecting him. Run to first.
Right.
Oh no, I get it. I wanted to make sure because we were talking about when we said not on a bunt, and then we said a drop ball. I just wanted to make sure that people understood that if a guy bunts it with a infield fly impact, and they decide to let it fall in turn two, that's perfectly okay.
Absolutely.
That double play is Gary's best friend. Get more outs.
Yes, Gary teaches that in between innings.
Outs. I love outs. Anybody that works with me, call them out.
He's working on that with the kids in between innings. So yes, that's 100% correct. So yeah. Perfect.
So question,
Everybody clear?
infield drawn in. You get a
The what?
ball you get an infield drawn in, and a ball that's normally an infield fly is really not catchable, but it's still within the perimeters of an infield fly. How do you call that?
In your judgment, could it have been caught with ordinary effort by an infielder?
Okay.
If the answer is yes, it's an infield fly. If the answer is no, not an infield fly. And it could be your judgment sucks. It's still your judgment, right? And somebody's like, my judgment could be different than yours. It's probably going to be different than the coach who doesn't get the call, who's going to, have different judgment than you. But that's what we're relying on, right? Do the best you can, use your best judgment, and move on to the next one.
You got to remember that all of these difficult calls that we're making, that's the reason why we're there as umpires. We're not there to make the easy calls. We're not there when the guy's out at first base by 3 steps. We're not there when the guy catches an easy pop fly at the corner. So we're there to make the tough decisions. And The reason why we're there to make the tough decisions is probably back in the early 1800s when they started this game, they had some pretty big fights over things that nobody could decide what was the right call. So they decided, you know what? We need somebody impartial here to make that decision. That's us now, okay? It's a long time since that started, but still the same concept. They're asking us to make an impartial decision on something that would normally probably turn into a 45-minute argument. Okay. So that's why we just got to make the call, live with what we said, right, wrong, indifferent. This is what we're doing. And the magic words, we're moving on.
Word to the wise, be wary
Gotta
of
move
windy
on.
days.
Okay.
Windy days, I was saying, are tough with the infield fly, so just be wary.
Yeah, windy days for sure.
It's a good reason, Nick, to be disciplined about waiting until that ball gets to its apex and then being able to judge whether, when it's on its way down, is there somebody there to field it with ordinary effort? Great point.
Exactly. Yep.
Hey, Phil.
Yeah, I think what Nick might have been talking about is you call the infield fly at the apex, and then you get a nasty gust of wind, and it blows it 25 feet away from the fielder. The offensive coach may come
possible.
unglued
Yeah,
at that
that's
point.
real tough.
Yeah,
He may come
again,
unglued at
on a
that
windy
point.
day, especially, you don't have to call it when it's at its apex. Let it start to come down.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about this kind of stuff over and over and over again, what I'm about to say. The fielders will always tell you what's going to happen. The baseball doesn't tell you what's going to happen. So when that ball goes up in the air, you understand that it's a windy day. There's no sense in you looking at that baseball. The baseball is not going to tell you where it's going to go and how it's going to be blown and all that. It's not telling you anything. The fielder is. So as soon as that ball goes up, you look at fielders. The fielder seems like he's settling underneath it and he's got it pretty good and he's stable. Call the infield fly. If he starts going, oh my God, whoa, wait a second, he might get under it still, but maybe
Phil,
not.
I got a question for Phil. Phil, in the history of baseball, has a baseball gone up that has not come down?
Anybody who's been through the Bud program in about the last 10 years knows my thoughts on that. They've yet to hit a ball that hasn't come down.
Right. So remember that the baseball tells you nothing. The fielders tell you everything. You need to know where the ball's going. Once you know where the ball's going and what field it's going to or what direction it's going in, that's it. Now those fielders that ball applies to are the only ones that are going to tell you what's going to happen. The baseball's not going to communicate to you. So get used to looking at fielders, watching fielders. Chest to the ball still. We're not going to lose that concept. Ball's in left field. We're going to chest to left field. That's where the ball is. But we're not going to focus our eyes on the ball. We're going to focus our eyes on the fielder. Okay? That goes a long way and helps a lot. Believe me, it gets everything slowed down. Everything starts to get real clear. When you're not at the last moment picking up a fielder and not knowing what he was doing or how he was going to catch the ball or whatever, that's hard. That's like a blow up. If you're watching him early, you're going to be successful. So, all right, we're getting close to the end. Anything else? I don't want to cut anybody short. If anybody else had any other questions.
Yeah, I got a question, a point for Gary.
Gary?
What do you got?
To answer your question, in 1984, Dave Kingman actually did hit a fly ball that never came down.
I'm talking about outdoors. Nice try.
Still rolling
You
around
said
on
the
a
history of baseball. You asked the question.
Still rolling around on a catwalk somewhere.
Yeah. And it's quite possible in Tampa that's happened where it hasn't come down. But no. But good. Okay, guys, for next week, I'd really like you to get familiar with a document that I have on the website. If you go to our website and go to the supervisors page, and there's a document that's called NHBUA Mechanics Terms. I want you to start getting familiar with those. You're going to, by the time we start the season, you're going to be sick and tired of me talking about these. But these are the guiding principles on what we do on the field to get calls correct. Okay. So we really need to learn this terminology. We need to learn these concepts. We're going to go over them many times between now and the beginning of the season, especially in the annual meeting. In our breakout sessions, we'll be talking about these at nauseum at all three stations because it applies everywhere on the field. Okay. So if you guys can get those down, it goes a long way to what we're trying to accomplish here as far as improvement and development. Okay.
What's that website address again?
NHBUA.com.
All right.
Okay. NHBUA.com. So go there, get yourself familiar with the website. It's still a little bit under construction. It'll in the next month or so, it'll be pretty complete. But there's enough usable information there now that it's useful to go to. So go there, check that out, look at those mechanics terms for next week, and bring your talking points and your discussion points for next week based on that stuff. Okay.
Hey, Rick, quick question.
Sure.
Did we can the NHBUA Facebook page?
No, it's still there.
I haven't
Still
seen anything.
Make sure you type in New Hampshire baseball. I don't think it's under NHBUA. I think it's New Hampshire baseball umpires, maybe.
Okay, I think I did NHBUA.
Yeah, I think you got to spell out New Hampshire. If you've been there before, you start spelling out New Hampshire, it comes right up. So yeah, that's still there. Look for information, everything, a lot of information that you need there. Matt's going to keep that up to date. The website, of course, will be kept up to date. If you want to look at the agenda, all that stuff's on there on the website right now.
Yeah, I think something that might be helpful is I see these guys that have all these case plays on different Facebook sites, and I was just thinking it would make sense. It's funny, none of them like to answer the question as far as what the actual rule is. You get somebody posts a question and a play, and then everybody argues it, and nobody cites the rule, and nobody cites the actual.
Right, and then everybody starts insulting each other's intelligence and all that. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I've been on
I
those.
was thinking for our site, it would be nice if we actually had something where we, if somebody wants to throw something out there, you cite the rule and you have some.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good feedback, Drew. What we can look into creating a specific page on the website to go to for that, a link so that you can link on to that. I'll talk to Matt about that. See what the best platform for that might be. Might not be Facebook. It might be something else that's a little more private. So we're not getting every Tom, Dick, and Harry who has an opinion that doesn't know what they're talking about getting into arguments with us. I don't want that. That's not productive at all.
Well, yeah, you'd have to make sure that the only people in the group are actual people that have been accepted into the group.
Exactly. So right now we want our webpage to be accessible by all so they can find out about us. So it might be another platform to consider in order that a platform that we can make more private. That's all.
Yeah, we all had some.
Good feedback though. Thanks, Drew. All right. Anything else before we head out? Thank you, everyone. I hope you got something out of this. Our goal is to get at least one thing out of every one of these. Like I said, we're going to do them every Monday. Plan on it whenever you can get on. They're going to be about this long, about an hour or less. And so I don't want to bore you or keep you on too long. But it's something to just keep the brain moving as the off season as the season approaches during our off season to get everybody ready for the season. So thank you for coming, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks, guys.
Hey, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think most of you are on the 15th.
Gary, I'll need to talk to you.
Uh-oh.
But you're in trouble, Gary.
You're not turning your gaze back, Coach. Don't even start with that.
Yeah. Sorry. This is the only platform. Gary, this is the only platform where he can look people in the eye and talk to them.
Correct.
Ouch.
No, I don't know what's going on with me yet. So,
Coach.
No, my hip's fine. That's
okay.
Well, it's right after that, I end up getting sciatica.
Oh, that's back? No pun intended.
And it's on the left side.
Did you have it on the right side the last time or the left?
I had the right side.
So it's the same thing?
Yeah, it just went to the left side. Now I'm waiting to have an MRI to find out what we're gonna do.
Okay.
So as soon as I find out, I'm hoping to have it this week because they get all the information, and we're gonna see if if it needs surgery or not. If it's surgery, and that's usually a 2-month thing.
Right.
I could be ready for May, but I don't know.
All right, Coach. We'll have to deal with it. I figured.
But right now, I'm planning on doing them anyway, so
yeah,
I'll see what they say. They'll let me know my host physical content, what I can do, what I can't do, and then I'll go from there.
Well, it's been a couple weeks since somebody dropped off or turned back or something, so it's been the calm before the storm, I guess.
So I don't know what it is. I mean, it's feeling better now, but I mean, it comes and goes. I mean, it's been like this for over a month, and I'm trying to get it.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, it's been horrendous. I mean, every day. Stop pain.
Yeah, do what you need to do, Coach. Yeah, no worries.
I know,
We'll
but I
figure it
mean,
out.
I'm hoping I can do some of it, if not all of it. So
yeah,
just wanted to give you a heads up. I'll let you know as soon as I find out what we're doing.
Good luck with that, Coach.
I'm on pins and needles, Coach. I'm on pins and needles.
Yeah.
Pissed about everything. My hip's fine, look good, and then all of a sudden, boom! Now I get the other side. Jesus Christ!
Right.
Take a gun and shoot myself. It's just getting nuts.
Coach.
But I'll be ready, one way or the other.
All right.
I worked
Hell
in
or
paint.
high water, Coach. Hell or high water.
All right, guys. I'll do what I can. Talk to you
I might
later.
have to relegate you to T-ball, Coach.
No, even that might be tough.
Does he
Well, you
feed
can
the
bring a
pitching
chair.
machines?
You can sit, can't you? Or
Oh,
bring
I
a
can
bed.
sit.
You lay in there.
I don't know how long, but I can sit.
Okay.
There you go.
I'll work it out. I always do.
Okay.
Like
I know. You're the soul.
went through pain last year, so I can go through pain again this year.
Correct.
We'll let you know.
All right. See
All
you,
right,
Coach.
guys.
See you,
I'll
Coach.
Talk to you guys later.
See ya.
See ya.
All right. I recognize that there's a few guys on still. Does anybody have any extra questions that they wanted others to get off before they asked?
It is just about the Zoom meetings that you're going to have on Mondays.
Yep.
I got an arbiter invite for this meeting.
Yep.
Are we going to be using the same Zoom link every week?
No, it'll be a
No, it'll
different
be-
Zoom link because we're taping it every time.
We're recording it every time for those who want to have. So I'm also in. I should have mentioned this to everybody. I'll mention it next week. I'm talking to Matt. Approached me and asked me if he could put the Zoom meeting each week on Mondays onto our YouTube channel, so guys could just access it whenever they want it on the YouTube channel. I think that's a great idea rather than Gary sending it to individuals. I think we just post it on there if we can, and then it can. If you happen to miss one, you can go watch it on YouTube.
Right. But all I mentioned was I only have just the invite for this week.
Right. That's all that's out there.
We'll do
I
that.
don't wanna send
We'll invite
too
you
many-
week to week.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. That was my only question. You're
Yeah.
going to invite me week to week.
Yes.
You send out so many,
Perfect.
Zoom links. They're like, all right, which Zoom link? And then they text me.
Yeah,
and
no, I get
oh
it.
my God.
Yeah.
I get it.
So one will have to end before we send the next one out.
Yep.
Correct.
No
Yeah,
problem.
you'll get it every like Thursday,
Mhm.
right before the weekend.
Gary, I sent you an email.
I did. Yeah, I got that. And I'll, if you want to give me a call, Jeff, tomorrow, and we can touch base.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming, Jeff. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. Looking forward to it.
Great.